The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin.
I don't know how I keep hitting mute, but I keep hitting mute. It must be Mercury in retrograde. Good Lord have mercy. Well, welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde. And you know what I find fascinating? That so many high-achieving women can run companies, raise families, build empires, negotiate million-dollar fucking deals. But when it comes to their own pleasure, their own bodies, and their own sexuality, they're completely disconnected. And it's not because they're broken. It's because somewhere along the way, we were taught that sex is something that you perform, not something that you experience. And we were given rules. And those rules were look sexy, be desirable, do it right, make sure your partner's satisfied. And if you're really lucky, maybe you'll have an orgasm too. But what if everything that we've been taught to do in sex is the very thing that shuts down our pleasure? What if the problem isn't technique, positions, or even chemistry? What if the real issue is what we've been trained out of our erotic innocence, that natural curiosity, embodied relationship with pleasure that we were born with? So today's guest, Patty Alfonso, has spent more than 2 decades guiding women back into their bodies through embodiment and energy work. And today we're going to talk about something that might make some people really fucking uncomfortable. But we know that's what 50 Shades of Bullshit is all about, okay? But what we're going to do is give women the what they deserve to understand. I tripped over that, but you got the idea. So why so many women struggle across access to deep pleasure and how they reconnect with their bodies might be the most radical act of self-reclamation there is. So buckle up, because today we're going to talk about sex, innocence, power, and the bullshit we've been taught about all three. So let's welcome on Patty to the show.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Patty.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? That was the best intro segment. Like, you nailed it. That was so good.
Thank you. You know, I've started doing a whole different thing. You know, in the past, I used to wing this show, like wing it, have no idea what I was going to say, barely look at the intro before I went in. I just thought it should be off the cuff. But, you know, as I have changed and as I've developed and as I've grown and a lot in my healing, I'm not afraid of all this anymore. I really take my time to get to know what the topic is about and my guest and really understand what we're doing here, because I used to think that my, you know, genuine, off the cuff, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Vulnerability, spontaneity,
moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was the way that people could relate, but I really realized that my inner thoughts and truly how to bring those about to help other people is what the show is about. So I then started taking my time and writing intros that I thought were, you know, as deep as I could go on the subject, not knowing a ton, because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you for that. That's thank you. I'm going to drink to that.
Do it.
My sparkling water. Well, I appreciate you being here. I know that you've been doing this a while. What, in a brief little thing, tell me what got you started in this.
my own disconnection to my body. You know, it was my late 20s, early 30s that I realized that I was just functioning from the head up, and I was miserable. And I was living at the time in Los Angeles, and I ended up in energy healing school. And during my studies, becoming a body mind counselor and an energy healing therapist, I really felt like there was something missing, but I didn't know what it was. Like energetic, I was like, something's off. And I landed in a S Factor pole dancing studio. And when I saw
I know that place.
Yeah, when I saw my teacher dance and I saw what she was embodying, and I was like, that's what I'm missing. Like I had completely cut myself off from any kind of sexual erotic energy. And the reality is for me, once I started dancing, because as soon as I saw her dance, I was like, I'll have that. I will have that now. I signed up and I was like gung ho. I mean, I've been an S Factor student and student for 20 years, teacher for 5. And it changed the energy work because I was fully in the totality of my body, all the way down into my pussy and down into the earth through that.
Yes.
I'm so glad we can touch on here.
Right?
Not that I think pussy is a cuss word, but you know. So yeah, that's how it started, was just with my own journey of getting into my body and rediscovering my own erotic innocence.
I can understand it. So here's a question for you, for those high achieving women. Do you think that high achieving women struggle with deep pleasure because they're used to controlling everything?
I think my sense is that high achieving women have been achieving in a predominantly masculine structure and a predominantly masculine world. And in that scenario, and I witnessed this in working with my clients, but I also had a little stint in corporate myself. So I can attest to this from personal experience as well. When you're in that masculine world, you just like end up trying to be like a man and act like a man, because that's the way that you're going to get valued in some way, because it's really all of the masculine qualities that are valued and dominated. You know, try telling your CEO that you just have an intuitive sense that project isn't going to go well. You don't really know exactly what it is yet, but you know that something's off.
Yes.
And they'll just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And ignore you completely, you know?
Yes.
So
but you will have been right.
Of course you will have been right.
Yes.
And eventually it will surface, but they won't attribute it to your intuition that they ignored 6 months ago. They'll attribute it to something else when you've been talking about it, right? Like something's off, something's not right here. This isn't going to go. Again, because it's the masculine rational, you need evidence and all of that rationality that is valued in that kind of structure. So high achieving women have to cut themselves off from that. They have to like bring their energy up to the head and to do it the way a man would do it. And I think that that's a big part of it. And listen, a feminine creature being a woman who isn't connected to her deep body wisdom and who is functioning, you know, from the head up, she's going to immediately lean into trying to control things. Because when you are fully present in your body and you're completely connected to your womb wisdom, there is a sense of inner safety that arises that no one can knock you off of. So when you're pulling your energy up and out of your body into your head and you're trying to think your way out of everything, then you're going to grip to try to control, because you're not tuning into the safe wisdom of your body.
Agreed. And I also think with that most women don't even know what their authentic pleasure even feels like.
Yeah. And pleasure, not only, when we're talking pleasure, not just like this feels good, I'm going to, self pleasure and masturbate and have an orgasm. I'm also, I really love empowering women to use their pleasure as a compass. So using your body sensations and the pleasure that's available in your body to let it guide you, let her guide you in making choices. We all know, like when you get a gut feeling that something's off, that maybe you shouldn't go to that party that night, or maybe something's not so right in this, or you walk into a room and that someone's just had an argument, but you may not know the details, right? So if we really started giving ourselves permission to listen to that kind of information that's really coming from your body and making choices using that kind of information, then, things would just turn out so much better than the incredible mindfuckery that we're creating nowadays.
I agree. I think that if women truly connected to their erotic power, that it would show up, their pleasure would show up in so many different ways in their lives. Yeah. Not just in the bedroom or wherever you're, doing it in the house. But I think it shows up in the way you work and in the way you deal with your friends and connect with the people you love. Because once you start showing yourself this beautiful love, that it's much easier.
Yeah. And you named it powerfully. It's erotic power. It's power. It's our innate power that we have been disconnected from because it's so powerful. But so much shame has been layered onto our bodies, onto our eroticism, that we disconnect ourselves on purpose, right? We have to take responsibility for our own choices and what we are creating. So if you're in the hustle of corporate and high achieving and getting to, that position, and you're betraying yourself and you're betraying your body, then, let's take responsibility for that as well. But this is why I really want to bring the energy of erotic innocence back into the conversation so that we can connect to our power. The thing about erotic innocence is that it brings you back into the curiosity, the wonder, the passion, right? Those are all energies that once you rediscover and unlock your erotic innocence, and it releases shame. So once you connect to that energy, then you have easy access to your erotic power. You can't let yourself put in power up here. You can't connect to your erotic power if you're in shame around your eroticism, or you're in shame around your body, or you're in shame around your natural innate feminine gifts. So it's a journey. And to me, in the way that I work with clients, it starts with erotic innocence. And then you can dive into, like, the process that I take women through includes sexual sovereignty. It includes womb wisdom. It includes sacred sexuality. Like, we have to bring back the sacred to our bodies and to our sexuality. And then, if people are interested, then we dive into sex magic, which is the same as erotic power, right? It's that place where your pleasure becomes the prayer to the cosmos and to the divine when you start creating with the divine and with your body rather than against it.
Yeah. Well, I started with the sex magic, and we talk a lot about that throughout the thread of this show, because, when we're performing as women, when we're performing in the bedroom, we're not really connected to anything but thinking we've got to go through these techniques or these performances to please somebody else. When you take that out of the equation, I truly feel that when you are connected to your body in a way that you just are embodied this sexual power and this sexual energy, you approach sex differently, and you're not really there pleasing the other person. You're there to please yourself, and the end result is more pleasure for the other person.
Yeah, 100%. And I have a sense to just talk a little bit about what we mean by performative, in case, people are like, what is that? Not just in case, I can feel it that there's those questions. So performative, think of porn. Think of the way that sex is portrayed in the movies. You know, the like really loud, I mean, that can happen too. But if you're doing that, but you're not actually feeling that in your body, you're doing it just to, maybe you want to fake an orgasm because you want to get over it, you want to be done with it. I don't know. Maybe you think that those sounds are going to be more of a turn on for the person that you're in bed with. Anytime that you are in your head about sex and you are pretending, acting, that's what we mean by performative. Yep. And you're 100% right. Like once we get really present with our bodies, this energy is going to be accessed throughout every area of your life. So also think about where you might be performing in other areas of your life. Maybe you're performing at your job. You know, maybe you're performing in your relationships. Maybe you're just like performing in every area of your life. And that's not to judge, or like, I can feel like maybe things are coming up for people. That's not to judge the performance. This is how we've been conditioned. This is the culture that we have been raised in. And we are at a pivotal point in time, especially for women, for men as well. But that's a different conversation. Maybe I'll come back and we can talk about that.
I would love that. Yes,
we are in a pivotal time where women have to stop performing and start being. Being fully present with yourself, fully present with your body, fully present in every single choice that you make in your life, because these are the times where change is happening fast.
Yes.
Globally, cosmically, all the things are happening. So this is the time for us to get really connected to ourselves, to our desires, to everything that we want to create, because things are happening really fast right now.
Yeah, you know, and a lot is going on, like you said, in the world. So much is stimulating us, and so much is like, oh my God, overwhelming, that our nervous systems are going haywire. And, you know, what do you think happens to our nervous systems when someone's trying to do the right type of sex instead of experiencing like what you're talking about?
Yeah. You know, I'm so glad you brought up the overwhelm, and that's why I'm talking specifically to women now. Especially, you know, I'm 51 and I'm in menopause, and, you know, there's more women in perimenopause right now than any other time in history. And I'm bringing this up because as women, it's my opinion that we really need to start living our lives according to the cycles that we are supposed to be living in. And I'll get to the bedroom piece in a second. You know, our cycles are in 28 days, like the moon for someone who's in menopause. Like I'm with the cycles of the moon right now. For a woman, it's not like a man where, you know, all day long, they can go all day long. They get that hit of testosterone every, 15 minutes, and their energy is really full on 24 hours a day. And they go to sleep and they wake up and they have tons of energy. So that's the corporate male cycle. For the feminine, it's different. We don't have the same amount of energy every day. So to have all of this erotic power available to you, all of this erotic energy available to you, you have to honor the cycles of your body. And that's in the bedroom or outside of the bedroom. So, if you're tired, take a nap. Like, we have to really be so much better about scheduling rest for ourselves. Sacred rest that your body needs in order to recharge herself. And there are going to be certain times during the month where you're going to have tons of energy and you're going to be able to get it all done and do all the things and have the sex, and it's going to be great. And there's other times during the month where you need a lot more rest. So I bring this up, and you'll have to remind me of your question. I'm having a menopause moment. I bring this up because it's really, really important when it comes to connecting to your body and to your eroticism. because
yes,
it's not always 1,000% all of the time. Now, remind me of your question.
you answered it. You answered
Okay.
it. It's just I was wondering what your opinion was to correlate your nervous system with performative kind of sex instead of experiencing it.
Thank
And
you.
you got it. Yeah.
So
But
tending to your nervous system is about tending to your energy, tending to your body.
there
So
you
if
go.
you are running on overwhelm and you're running on fumes and you're taxing your adrenals and you're
Yes.
burnt out, you're not going to have any energy for the bedroom. So this is all the whole nervous system regulation conversation is really a conversation about honoring where your body is and what she needs in that moment and giving it to her, and that might mean a nap in the middle of the day, especially if you're on your cycle.
And if you have kids and a job and a million other things like women nowadays have, they've got a career, they've got children, they've got husbands, and then their husbands come home and they expect their wives to jump their bones. And when they don't, they think, oh, I've got to go find it somewhere because nobody's giving it to me at home. Well, what are you helping your wife have, or your girlfriend or your significant other have a fucking nap?
Have a fucking nap. This is where I think feminism did a huge disservice to the feminine. When we took mothering and child rearing out of the tribe and we put it into the individual household and we left that woman alone to manage all of that, that was a ginormous, big fucking disturbance to our nervous systems. When we took us out of community, it was just a terrible disservice. And I mean, let me choose my words carefully here, because as women, I think that we also can learn how to ask for help and learn how to say, I need a nap. It's your turn. And if your partner isn't delivering that to you, and please tell me, I see you, and I'm open to discussion here. Like, we have to open up. We don't have to do it all. That was a lie.
Well,
that was a lie.
I do agree. I agree with you there. I mean, I'm just going to take my circumstance as an example.
Yeah.
My last marriage, I worked 2 to 3 part-time jobs, if not more. I was also still a full-time actress and model on top of the 2 or 3 jobs that I had to do in between the acting and modeling. I was a full-time mom of 3 children, and I had a husband that had one job that didn't make enough money to support the family, so I had to have all these extra things. And I remember very distinctly me saying to him, I cannot do this by myself. I'm not meant to. Please help me. And he would say, get a better job. Right. And I was like, well, which job isn't better for you? Which one? The full-time wife, the full-time mother, the 2 or 3 jobs that I have to pick up to allow me to still model, because that is my career. That was my career. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do see where there can be an issue where the direction that men have been taught to go, or not taught to go.
Right. That's why I was separating the conversation, because
that's a tough one.
It's a different specific conversation to have around the masculine, and then it's a different conversation to have around with the feminine and with women. And what I was going to say before I stopped is that if you're asking your partner, I need this support because I need a nap, and they're not contributing and they're not giving it, then that's a different conversation too. That's when you got to call a lawyer. And
I was just going to say,
or go to therapy or something like that. But we're kind of getting in the weeds here of relationships and the masculine feminine dynamics. And I want to come back to empowering the feminine in their erotic innocence, because empowering the masculine in their erotic innocence is a completely different conversation, more around, owning their emotional body and their emotions and being in touch with that part of themselves. So for the feminine, it's really ownership, reclaiming ownership of our bodies and reclaiming ownership of our sexuality and our sovereignty. so that we can stand, in what our needs are and have them met, not run around like a chicken with our head cut off trying to meet everybody else's needs and then forgetting our own. So there's still work to do for all of us. We're all in transition here.
Exactly. So when we're, thinking about the female pleasure and how just, so misunderstood that it is, even for women themselves, how do you think, when you were talking about shame, how do you think that shows up?
When I was talking about women? What? I didn't hear that word. Shame. How does it show up? Yeah, there's so many different ways. What I find is that if there's anything in you that you don't feel comfortable talking about, that you feel like, I don't have anyone to talk to about this, there is shame around that topic. And we have been shamed around our bodies and our pleasure. It's been made, religiously like a sin, that we have to pay for. The way that we are the ones that are constantly like having to protect ourselves around our sexuality is because it has been shamed as bad and wrong. What else? Does that answer your question, or do you need more?
Yeah, exactly. No. I'm curious also, with the disconnect, how much of it do you think is actually conditioning versus personal sexual trauma?
I think it's all of it. I don't know any woman that hasn't experienced some kind of violation, trauma. Some kind of, whether it's a look from across a room that wasn't invited, that felt penetrative, that felt like ew, to simple things. So I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's either, we're shamed because of the sexuality and we have to hide it because we don't want to like tempt men, or there's been trauma and we're hiding it and we're frozen because we don't want to tempt men. Right. But the thing is, this is the thing, is that our bodies were made to flirt and titillate. And it's biological. That's how we keep the race going in a way. Right. Our bodies were made before the patriarchy, before Christianity. When we go back to like Mary Magdalene as an erotic priestess, when we go back to the time when women were revered in their sexuality, and that energy was seen as powerful, as healing. When erotic priestesses were in charge of, healing the community with their sexual energy. Like somewhere along the way, that got twisted, with the stories of Adam and Eve and the sin and all of that crazy things. So it's all of it. It's personal, it's cultural, it's societal, it's what's in the movies. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Well, to jump off what you were saying there, I really know, it's not a feel. I really know that back in, throughout the history of mankind, you can see how powerful a woman is from the very beginning. Okay. From her healing abilities, her nurturing abilities, and not even that, just there's so much to a woman. Her brain is bigger than a man's when it comes to the capacity of business. There's so many things that now that they're finally studying a woman's body, they're seeing all of this, right? So when it comes to that, I think that they really went out of their way to, they meaning men, because there's only two types of people here, women and men, from the beginning of time.
The patriarchy. Let's just say the patriarchy. Because there are women who are functioning from patriarchal values who are also, like, let's look at Pam Bondi, who are also doing damage to the feminine. So let's just say the structure of the patriarchy, which has harmed the feminine and harmed the masculine. It's a systemic, structural problem that like religion took and went with it and all of that. So I don't want, I love men. I know you love men too. And if we have men listening, we love you. We love you.
Yeah, but still, let's go back to the beginning for a second with the patriarchy, however you want to call it. The power of a woman had to be subdued. Yes. And the way to do that was to take her powers away, her ability to do anything, her without permission of her husband. And she needed to be married. She needed to be, it's the way that it's been done, unfortunately. We do have a listener. Yara said, how is that a self-fulfilling prophecy? Can you talk more about what you mean about that? Yeah, I was curious about that as well.
Yeah, let me... the words sometimes come out of my mouth. so I think what I meant, it's like a vicious circle, right? And it's just, it's a continuous circle of this thing that gets perpetrated onto our energy and onto our body. That's what I meant. I learned the term self-fulfilling prophecy in college, and I'm trying to remember why I use that in that way. And it's almost like also the more we keep talking about the circle and what it's happening and all of that, then the more we are reinforcing it. And now it's coming to me why I said it, because I am interested in creating a new reality around this. I want to create
but don't you have to
reality.
But don't you have to talk about it to even get to that? I mean, I do understand what you're saying.
Yes. It depends how you're talking about it. It depends how you're talking about it. If you're talking about it to create awareness and consciousness because you want to create something different, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. But if you're talking about it to create drama or to stay in your 100%. Anger or to stay or to like make someone else wrong. So we're getting really granular here on the energetic level of what your intention is about talking about it. So also listen, if you go on social media right now, and you click on one thing on your reels and then you get 30,000 videos, all of them pushing that reality back into your mind. And then that's how you start thinking, and then that's how you start acting, and that's how you start being. And that's the reality you're creating. That's also the self-fulfilling prophecy of just like it's fulfilling itself because it's running in your system.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I do believe.
Yara, but that clarifies that. And go ahead, Christina. I don't mean to cut you off. I get so excited about all of this.
I do agree with you. It's the way we're talking about it. I think that we should start a whole new cycle of being positive about it, not keeping it taboo. That's why I talk about the things that I talk about here, because I think that, so much for so long was told us it was sinful to even think about, much less doing, that I think we need to break out of that,
Right. And I think this is where erotic innocence comes in.
Okay.
There is the innocence that we come into this world with. The innocence of when, and this is my personal, beliefs about all that. The innocence that is there when you're like, oh my God, yes, I want to go to Earth and I want to have a body and I want to feel all the things and I want to have all of these experiences and I can't wait to see what all that is like. That's erotic innocence. Eroticism is your life force energy. It is everywhere. It is the earth. It is nature. It is every body on this planet, right? And then you come to Earth and you have this life that you decided you wanted to have, and all of this shit fucking happens, whether it's trauma or the culture that you're in or the family that you're born with. And that erotic innocence gets dampened and gets squashed. And then you start believing all of these stories that sex is bad and it's a sin and you're a slut and all that shit that we fucking buy all along the way. And then there's the erotic innocence that arises when you've let go of all of those stories, when you've let go of the shame, when you've said, no more, no more. I want to live my life with curiosity and wonder and passion. And even in relationship, because we kind of went there a little bit, what if, and this doesn't count if you need a doctor or a lawyer or the cops, okay? Doesn't count what I'm about to say if you need a doctor, a lawyer, or the cops. If every person approached their relationship with their partner with curiosity and innocence and awe and wonder and passion, how would that shift things? You need two people for that. So this doesn't count. I'll say it again. If you need a cop, a doctor, or a lawyer. But again, back to the erotic innocence. It's the innocence that emerges once you've done the work and you've lowered the walls and you've released the shame. And then you can look at your whole life through that lens and have more access to your eroticism. Judgment, resentment, shame, anger, all of those things are going to damper your capacity for eros and pleasure.
I love it. Here's something for everyone listening who feels completely disconnected from their body. What's the first step that they can take today?
For people who feel completely disconnected from their body, I like to tune into the energy to see what's present in the moment. I always like to invite people to activate their 5 senses. So sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. If you're really disconnected from your body and you're like, I don't know, I want you to start maybe one sense at a time. Let's pick your sight for the day and look around and see what you look at and the what it creates for your body. Right? So if you're looking around your house and let's say, for example, it's really messy and there's stuff everywhere and you're just like start getting like, right? Then, okay, what can I do here to create a more pleasant environment for myself? And then go out in the world and look around. What is it that when you look at it, your whole body's like, oh, yes, yes. And then do that with one sense every day. What are the smells that actually light up your body? Like, I love the smell of baking bread or just bread in the toaster. Like when I smell it, I'm like, oh my God. Or what's another, or the scent of rose always relaxes my body. What are you listening to? What music are you listening to? Is the music revving your body up and creating tension? And la, 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 la. Sometimes I notice if I'm listening to something and it's really high energy and I already have a lot going on, then it adds more pressure to that energy and it doesn't feel good. So then I switch the music or I turn it off because there's already so much happening energetically. Taste. What are you eating? Like savor your food and see what it creates for your body. And that's how you kind of start getting to know your body on a different level. What are the clothes that you're wearing? Like if you put something on, do you feel kind of like, that's tight, I'm so uncomfortable? Or you put something on and your body's like, yeah, oh, that feels good. And you walk around, you're like, I got this now. So play with your body, play with the senses of your body and see what feels good. And that's a really great way to just start with getting to know your body on a different level. I'm a big believer in creating your life with your body, not against it. Creating your life and like not controlling your body. Like I don't control my body. My body has a say in everything in my life. Like literally, I was living in LA for 20 years and I knew that I needed a change and I knew that I wanted to move to this particular area. So I went and I started doing house sitting in a bunch of different areas so that my body could let me know where she wanted to live. Where was it going to be relaxing? And the second I drove into this one area, my body just went, and I was like, that's it.
I love that.
That's done.
I love that. Well, what I love about this conversation is that it reminds us that pleasure isn't something that we earn or something that we perfect. It's like something more of what we remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's always there. It's always there. It's your birthright. There are millions of nerve endings on this glorious body of yours, and they're all just waiting for you to notice them, to wake them up, so that you can have a more pleasurable life. This whole world is really made to please your body. So
it is sight, sounds, feels, the whole thing, and the energy of the earth. It's like I'm down here in Mexico, and just the energy itself of the place calls me and fills me with this calmness and this peace and this energy that is so different than anywhere else,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, really along the way in life, many of us were taught to disconnect and to, to perform, to judge, to earn distrust, things like that. Or even what I meant to say was distrust them. But our bodies have always held this like wisdom that is just so incredible.
Yeah. And we just haven't been taught, how to be with it and harness it and listen to it. And that's really what I love the most about the work that I do, because I've been doing this for myself personally for 20 years. I want to empower other women and men too. I work with men as well, but mostly women, because we're the most, I think that there's so much more available, not only for ourselves, but for this planet when women are really tapped into their power. And that includes their body, So it's my favorite to really empower women to deepen into their relationship with their body.
And I love Yara just said, my body has a say in everything I do. And I agree with that. I love that too, because, when we're, I say, when we're trying to, not try to, let me rephrase this. When we reclaim our pleasure, I don't think it's about becoming someone new. I maybe it's about returning to a part of ourselves that was always there, like to be alive and sensual and fully present. That's been my challenge, was becoming fully present in the moment, not thinking about what I'm going to do when I get home in an hour or what I did an hour ago. It's like being fully present in the moment is really a great way to connect to every sense that you can possibly feel, think,
100%.
hear, see.
100%. What do they say? The past is over. The future hasn't happened. All we have is now. So if you're somewhere else thinking, and again, back to the thinking mind, that rational, how we've been trained to be. I know in my family didn't value the body. It was all about like the grades that you were getting and what college you were going to go to and how accomplished you had to be and, the job that you were going to get. Oh my God. I think they all thought I was very strange in the line of work that I chose to.
I love it.
But, when my parents got sick and got cancer, I was the first person that they called to reconnect to their bodies. So at some point that, they kind of realized, there might be something to this body thing.
Oh, absolutely.
We all have one.
I do also think, I loved how you were talking about how you went to different places to feel your body and see what it did and how it reacted, because what is it called? Topology or it's where they, say that again.
Astrocartography.
Yeah.
That's when they look
I think
at
that has real significance.
for people who don't know, that's when they an astrologer will look at your birth chart and they'll tell you the places where you will have the best experience according to the time that you were born, which I think is super, super fun.
I do too, because really it's about energy, and energy is what makes up everything around us.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't have this glass to hold in my hand if I didn't put the energy into needing something to drink. You know what I mean? It's like we can put that into our pleasure. We can put that into our relationships and into our everyday life to create the kind of life that, to create the life that we are wanting to embody, to be embodied into.
I love that you said that, because I always make a joke. I love this joke. Like, if you didn't have a body, you actually wouldn't need to have that drink. And if you didn't have a body, you wouldn't be able to hold that glass. Everything on this planet Earth was made for your body. If you didn't have a body, you would not need money. You would not need a car. You would not need a house. You would not need clothes. You would not need any of that. You would just be flitting about spirit without a body anywhere and everywhere. You wouldn't be able to open a door, right? So everything on this planet is for your body. So it is so important. These bodies are specifically made for this planet. So in order for us to evolve as a race in consciousness, we have to include our bodies. We have to. That's the whole point of being on this planet, is to be and have a body. So how could you not use it in your life, you know?
I know, it's crazy. I think that when people really start to, even with pain, I mean, that's a whole nother episode, but even in our pain in our body is connected to something that we need to release or look at, or and I, for most of the people who know me outside of my podcast, I got injured this week. And in moving here, I kept saying, I'm here to slow down. And I have not slowed down, not one fucking bit. And then I injured my leg. I pulled my hamstring, and it shut this entire week down like that. And it made me rely on friends and people I love, and the kindness of people who barely know me. Yeah. And it's incredible, because it has allowed me to slow down and see the things I was missing.
You just hit everything that we've talked about. The not slowing down, right? That patriarchal, like, go, go, go kind of thing. Your body, in the way that I work with embodiment, that was your body helping you to slow down. That was your body saying, you said you wanted to slow down and you have it here. Let me help you with that. Right? Because I don't believe in there being anything wrong with your body. Your body is here to create your life with you. So she or he is going to do what is needed. And everything, pain and it's just sensation. It's just your body giving you information. And if we start to listen sooner to our bodies, it doesn't get to that pain point. It doesn't get to stubbing, hurting your leg and having all of that happen. Although you're also bringing up community, which we talked about before, and how we really need to be in community with each other. So that was like the best example.
Thank you. Well, it is my birthday this week. I am celebrating all week.
Yay!
58 looks great on me. I love it.
Yes, it does. 51 looks good on me too. I think we should all celebrate our age all of the time. I'm so grateful every time I get a whole other year. I'm like, yes.
Me too. Exactly. Well, so if you take this one thing away from today's episode, everyone, let it be this. Your pleasure isn't frivolous. Your pleasure isn't selfish. And your pleasure certainly isn't something you have to earn. It's part of your power. So thank you for being here today, Patty. I truly appreciate it. And I would love to have you back. And we were going to talk about the men's side of things, which is valuable, 100%.
Erotic innocence counts for the masculine as well. And it is equally as important. So I would love to. Yeah.
We're going to get
Thank
you scheduled probably in like April or May. We'll look at the calendar.
That would be wonderful. I think we just all have to work together now.
I agree.
It's not one over the other, power over. We have to work together. So I would love to do that. Thank you so much for having me. Thank 100%. You, Yara, for your comments and your questions. And it's just been such an honor.
Well, I appreciate it. And I love having you here. Thank you again. To everybody who comes every week and listens, we really appreciate your time and energy because this is why I do it for you. Thank you. Come back again next week, same time, same place. And until then, let's just keep this shit real.
Let's keep it real.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.